Hi guys, it's Laura. Thank you all for watching and welcome back to my channel. So today is gonna be a short cooking video. I would like to share with you how I cook my favorite one-pot pasta, which is something that's an excellent addition to anyone's recipe collection because it's super quickly cooked, it's super easy, and it's also something you can easily warm up and take with you to the office, or when you're traveling you can bring it with you, so you can pre-cook a little bit bigger amount, which is my favorite way of cooking because it just makes things so much easier. So if you want to know how I cook my favorite one-pot pasta, then please keep watching. Let's have a look at the ingredients. So we are going to start over here with the chopped stuff. So I have here a few tomatoes and about 2 small carrots, and I chopped a few brown mushrooms. Instead of the fresh tomatoes, you could use something like this. These are chopped tomatoes in a can. So sometimes when I spontaneously decide to cook something like this and I don't have fresh tomatoes, that's what I would use. It tastes great. It's a really great option. Plus, these are super inexpensive. About the mushrooms, they are optional. Instead of mushrooms, you can use, for example, a zucchini or a melanzane. For the sake of my marriage, I did not use a zucchini because Jack would hate it. So instead of that, I used mushrooms. And then I have here these soup veggies. Normally I would use them in order to cook a vegetable stock, and I would use a fresh vegetable stock, but it has to go quickly today. So an option is to use a powdered vegetable stock, which is something I'm gonna use today, but I wanted to show you these. And then I have here onions and garlic. This is about a half of a large onion, and the garlic, I would call it a shitload of garlic, but as a normal human being, you will probably use a little bit less than I do. So let's say like 3 crushed garlic cloves, and either 1 normal sized onion or half of a large onion. So I'm gonna put the options away, and then we're going to have a look at the rest. So I have here legumes for protein. So you can use either white beans, red beans, black beans, or maybe even lentils, whatever you like. I have here then, it says oregano, but it's actually a mix of Italian herbs. So there's rosemary, thyme, marjoram, oregano, and basil. And I have here also black pepper. And then I have here the pasta. This is a very simple pasta, nothing special about it. If you are gluten intolerant, of course, use gluten-free pasta, or if you want to have more protein, you can use some low-carb protein pasta made of, let's say, lentils or peas or chickpeas. And then I have here nutritional yeast and fresh basil. So that's all the stuff we're gonna need. And now let's start cooking. And by the way, I will list all ingredients as always in the description box. We are going to cook the one-pot pasta in this large pan. It's a non-stick pan. It even has a lid. It's been quite expensive, but totally worth the money. So if you have any dish that is rather larger and higher, it's perfect. Other than that, you can cook it simply in a pot. Just make sure nothing burns. And I already drizzled into the pan canola oil. I turned the heat on, and now I'm waiting until it's gonna be hot enough so that I can throw in the onion and all the chopped stuff and the garlic. And I just remembered there's one more ingredient that I wanted to show you. I have here this plant-based cream alternative, which is something I like adding into the one-pot pasta so that it tastes more savory. You don't necessarily need that, but I like it. And instead of this, you could simply take a handful of cashews with a cup of water and blend them, and then you would have homemade cream, like plant-based cream. While the stuff is sizzling in the pan, I have here a cup of hot water with about 3/4 of a tablespoon of the soup powder. I personally rather like using a smaller amount and then adding more later if necessary, because I don't want the one pot pasta end up being too salty. And the amount of pasta I'm gonna use is quite large, so this is half a kilo actually, but I always like cooking a bigger amount because then we have dinner and then lunch the next day and sometimes even another dinner depending on how hungry we are. So this is gonna be probably a little bit loud when I uncover the pan, but that's okay. So I'm gonna add the water with the soup powder and then I'll throw in the pasta. And while I started stirring, I already noticed that this could definitely use more water. So I have more boiled water in the water boiler always on the side, which is always super convenient. So I'm gonna stir it again. And I'm actually going to add a little bit more liquid, but this time a bit of this plant-based cream because I want this to taste savory. So I'm not gonna add the whole carton. So this is 250 milliliters. So I'm gonna add about 100 milliliters and I think that's enough. And I turned the heat up again. I'm gonna stir it nicely. And then I'll cover the pan and I'll let it simmer and I will stir occasionally. So now I added a little bit more water, but as you can see, it's not really like swimming in the liquid because you want the pasta to end up being creamy and soaked with all the aroma from the other ingredients and with the liquid. So be careful and add always a little bit at a time. So now I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast and stir it again. It looks like it's almost done. And at this point, I'm not gonna add any more liquid because I want the consistency to be super creamy. So I'm gonna turn the heat down and I'm gonna grab one of these pastas and put it on a cutting board and chop it and try it. Well, it needs probably 2 more minutes and then it should be done. So at this point, I'm already going to throw in all the olives and also the beans. And I'm going to stir all nicely in. And then I'll cover the pasta and let it simmer for 2 more minutes and then it should be done. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit more of the cream. I just tried the sauce and I really like it savory. It's always the best to try a little bit and see if you like it before you add more of the stuff. And I actually ended up putting it the entire carton, even though I told you first I'm not going to. But hey, this is how I cook. I'm kind of always winging it. And I'm trying to imagine how the stuff would taste if I would add something, and sometimes it just seems like a good idea. And honestly, today I'm totally in the mood for something savory and creamy, and this is perfect now. So I'm gonna turn it off and let it sit for another minute or 2 and then I'll serve. Now look how creamy this looks and it just smells wonderful. But there's one more thing missing, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is for me personally the key ingredients in order to make this special, and that is fresh basil. And I'm not even shy with that. I actually put on quite a lot because I absolutely love the taste, but the amount is of course up to you. And there you have it. It's a really lovely, quick, easy meal, and one thing that I like about this especially is the fact that you can easily warm this up, so it's a perfect food that you can also bring with you when you travel or to the office. Wow, the scent of fresh basil is so special. I personally find that adding fresh basil to meals makes them taste so much fancier, even if it's the simplest meals, and it adds such a wonderful flavor and aroma. So anyway, in addition to fresh basil. You can also sprinkle on your one-pot pasta, for example, hemp seeds or crushed pumpkin seeds or both. And that is it for today. I hope that if you try my one-pot pasta recipe that you're gonna enjoy it. If you're gonna post a photo on Instagram, you're welcome to tag me. My Instagram accounts are linked down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Love you guys so much, and see you soon with my next video. Bye.